ಓಕೆ ಓಕೆ ಇವಾಗ ಚೆಕ್
only two
ಮಾಡೋಣ
colleges
ಲೈವ್
showed.
ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಮ್
One is
ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ
East
ಇವಾಗ
Point College.
ಓಕೆ ಒಂದು 2 ಮಿನಿಟ್ಸ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಲ್ಯಾಪ್ಸ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಚೆಕ್
East West College.
ಮಾಡೋಣ
East West College.
Which list?
ಕಳಿಸಿದ್ದೀನಿ ನೋಡಿ ಮೇಲೆ ಕಳಿಸಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಅದೇನೇ
Which list?
ಹಾಂ ಅದೇನೇ
CT.
ಓಕೆ ಹಾಂ
No, not there. I checked.
Therefore, you see 2014, 15, we have 47.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm surprised. That's not. See, I tried for my daughter. Then
16, 17, we have.
ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ
so
ಶೇರ್
not
ಮಾಡಿ
there in
ಈಗ
CT.
ನೋಡಿ
There
ಚೆಕ್
were
ಮಾಡಿ
two colleges showed. One is East
Maybe that
West
is
College.
filled up because our ranking is
Not filled up.
Yeah.
No, my daughter got some 14,000 rank.
She must wait.
It was not there in the list.
Maybe I don't
It
know.
is not there. I informed.
No, but these students are
He sat and analyzed all colleges, everything.
Yeah,
analyzed and
16,
then-
17 we are telling. 16, 17 batch is going on with the 72 students. Sorry, 79 students. This batch is going on with the 79.
I'm surprised.
Something
That's
Ivac
what I
stream
thought.
ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ.
I was surprised.
I
See, my
Ah,
thing
then,
was to
then,
put her
then.
in this one. Then lastly we put her to computer science.
ಲಾಗೌಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಸತೀಶ್ ಚೆಕ್
She
ಮಾಡಿ
is now studying at Rajiv Gandhi Institute of Technology in RT Nagar. Now she is doing her 7th sem. Now this.
ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಶೇರ್ ಆಗಿದೆ
We tried. I wanted to put in
ಲೈವ್
electronics,
ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಮ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀನಿ
but DC engineering college at Telangana was not happy with the the infrastructure of the college.
ಇವಾಗ ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ
So I
ಚೆಕ್
thought
ಮಾಡಿ
then lastly
Ah,
we
then
put her
then
to
link.
computer science.
Actually, we are from 2011.
Mm-hmm.
2011 in the sea.
No, even I was surprised when he told me Meenakshi is not aeronautic. I told no.
No, particularly I want to
No,
look
no,
for
there
aeronautics.
was people from the Bangalore.
ಇಲ್ಲ ಎನ್ಎಂಐಟಿಲೇ ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀನಿ
India.
ನಾನು ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಮ್ ಮಾಡಿದ
No,
ಚೋಡಿ
no, I'm
ಎನ್ಎಂಐಟಿ
surprised. No, that's not great. If I don't know, I
And I am a member of US BTU, Board of
Okay.
Studies BTU member. Research Council member.
Okay.
Two member I am every day going there.
It was only two colleges. One that East for Yelahanka, one more in Kerala. Only two colleges it showed.
So what is it now actually? We are very good.
Yeah, thank you. I was
Yes, I'm a plain study panno. We got it so many times.
No, he is there at that time. I was not there. 2016, 17. I joined in 2018. Without 2016, 17, we have
16, 17 was there, is it?
ಸಿಟಿ ವಾಸ್ ದೇರ್
No, English only it shows two colleges. One is East West College and one more college at Kerala.
No, it was there. Actually, it started in 2011.
I came on
Starting
here.
with seat is there.
I came here from here. I went to MS College.
I
Then I went to
if it is not
Presidency
showing,
College.
it's already seat may be filled up.
No, before seat only you should select the college. No,
It should be, sir.
it is not
We
there.
are one of the faculty.
From 2015, I am here only.
I mean, he also 16, 17 years.
okay.
He was there. Only me came in 18, 2018.
Santu.
Can we have a look at this?
Yes, sir. I'm going to give him one lecture.
Yeah.
ಹಾಂ
Let's start.
ತಾಳೆ ಓಕೆ ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಸತಿ ಕಳಿಸ್ತೀನಿ ತಾಳೆ ಹಂಗೇನೆ ಇರು
WhatsApp we send, no?
ಓಕೆ ಕಳಿಸ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀನಿ
Let's start, huh?
Yes, sir.
Ready, yeah?
Yes, sir.
You see-
Everything is ready. You just give the welcome address. Later, I will tell the Chaitanya introduction. We will start.
So it is working, no?
Yes, sir, it's working. Everything is fine. And then friends are there.
Where? It is working, no?
Yes, sir.
How many attending?
101. You can start, sir.
Good morning. Good afternoon, sorry. Hello. Working. Huh? Where you see? Hello. Good afternoon to all.
Good afternoon, sir.
So I think it is a best point to meet it again, and we have started a programs through net online only. This is the journey of aerospace students to industry. So how and what is the process, what they are feeling inside the industry, what they are getting inside the industry, how they are entering into the industry, what is the benefits. All that things will be discussed in subsequent time. We'll get round about 7 to 8 speakers on this series Maybe some days two speakers, some days one speaker. So today we have one speakers from the Cape Gemini who is continuous recruiter for the aerospace from our institutions. It will help you to know about the Capgemini things and how they are using their aeronautical skills and what is the importance of the aeronautic world for them. They will highlight the things. Second part, we have the top tier companies like Boeing, Airbus, Rolls Royce, and even the this our yeah, that is Boeing, G, General Electricals, and Pratt and Whitney. In the last day, I was thinking to include into them, and they have agreed to give a lecture. So these are the top tier company of the aerospace. You can find out you can know it, and you have the idea about these companies. But they will highlight the much more about their industries, how they are including the students, how they are going for the development, R&D wars, all activities inside their companies. So basically, why I have done these things, why we are doing these things, because you people are not aware of lot of things about the industries. You are simply means you are coming to study the aeronautics, but after that, what you'll do, you have no idea. Some people means no idea which industry they will select, where to go, how to get a job inside the industries, and how what should be the knowledge about that industries. All that things is essential. You are going to any of the companies. What my point of view, what I want to tell you, that you people should thoroughly aware about the industrial backgrounds and thoroughly know about the industrial scenarios or environments. Then after knowing that environment, you will prepare yourself for that type of the industry, how to join, how to go to that type of industry, how to do work inside that industry, so how to prepare for that industry to be selected during the interviews and all. These things will help you and make you eligible for the that type of the industry. And these, you know, that these industries are top tier in the industry in the world, and they are paying highest salary in our domains. And as you know that we are aeronautical engineer with the Royals, into associated with us, Royal Aeronautical Engineering. Our jobs should be Royals, and these are the Royal company. For example, any aircraft you are going to purchase, you have to pay a very big amount for that aircraft. And you think if you will share that amount among all the members of your that is who are manufactured that aircraft, very big amount they have to get. Therefore, these companies are paying a very big amount in actually in exchange and paying a big salaries to you people. So hope any means you people should interact with those industrial peoples. And after that, we have another series with the IIT professors. Then we are planning to conduct another series with the international professors. And we next third one, last one, we have the plan to include the all airlines into the forces. So four continuous series we have the plan. This is one industry. Second one is the IIT. Third one is the international professors. Fourth one will give you. I mean, the internal professors how the admissions and how the aerospace domains is there. And fourth one will give you to the all airlines, this private airlines, how they will incorporate and if time permits, I'll give you another seminar, subordinate companies which are associated with our main frames like the aerospace, and second part subordinate companies, government companies who are associated with the our main frame of the aerospace. So this is my plans to conduct, so that you will get an idea about our aerospace and aerospace production and aerospace manufacturing, aerospace application, all that things. It will help you the knowledge enhancement. So I request kindly attend all the sessions, and I request all of you to interact with the person who is delivering the speech, or persons who is executing the speech, and you get the maximum idea, maximum benefit by talking with them. Wish you the best of luck. Thank you all. Okay.
Yes, sir.
I also.
Yes, yes. Hello. Hello. Sir, is it audible?
Sir.
Yeah, okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you to our HOD, PK Dash sir. Now we will introduce our today's speaker, Mr. Chetan Kumar. He is a technology leader who supports the business implemented the latest state of art of the technology in the human machine interface and also in the artificial intelligences, which helps the business to improve their efficiency and also to the same on expenses. And Chetan has been sales and technology manager for the QT company Australia and the New Zealand branches. He is the leader for that to both the regions, and also has an experience with the leading CAD and smart connectivity solutions in the manufacturing software. Okay. Very welcome to Chetan sir for agreeing for our webinar and for giving an your experience, sharing your experience with our students and our faculty. I will hand over to the Chetan sir. He will continue with the session today. Welcome you sir for our 5 days webinar on the industry aerospace thing. Today he is going to give a talk on the industry 4.0. Okay. Uh,
Very much. Thank you very much for that introduction, sir.
okay.
And
You can share your screen, sir. Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
so can you just confirm me if my screen is visible now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Screen is visible, sir. Now.
Thank you very much for that introduction, sir. And hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Let me just introduce myself. My name is Chetan Kumar. I have had an experience of working with a couple of industry leaders in the form of working with PTC, where I initially handled their CAD business, was helping evaluate and improve the CAD offering that they had from PTC, which is Creo, or earlier used to be known
We
as
are
Pro.
live streaming.
And over
The
the
option
years,
is
I've
not
moved on
showing
from
to
just
record.
CAD to also support with human-machine interfaces as well as
Stream
advanced
ಆಗ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ ಈಗ ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಮ್ ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ ನೋಡು.
artificial intelligence technology with PTC. And after PTC,
ನಾನು
I moved
ಏನೇನು
on,
ಮೂವ್
and
ಮಾಡ್ತಿದ್ದೀನೋ
now
ಅದೆಲ್ಲ
I am
ನನಗೆ
with this
ಶೇರ್
company
ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ.
called QT, where I
ಅಲ್ಲಿ
again
2 minutes ಟೈಮ್ ಲ್ಯಾಪ್ಸ್
provide
ಇದೆ.
companies with human-machine interface softwares. Apart from this, I've
Okay.
also had a small stint of being with the Indian Army as a technical officer
ಅಲ್ಲ
for about a year and a
ಚೆಕ್
half or
ಮಾಡಲು
so.
ಬರ್ತಿದ್ಯಾ ಅಂತ.
So that was my quick introduction. And I think
ಅಲ್ಲ
what
ಇವನಿಗೆ ಪ್ರಶಾಂತ್ ಏನ್
Professor
ಲಿಂಕ್ ನ
Raj
ಶೇರ್
told
ಮಾಡಬೇಕು?
us, the HOD, a little while ago around what is happening in industry and how
Okay.
you guys would be getting exposed to what happens in
not
the industry. I think my presentation and session today would be more with that base,
Chetan sir.
setting a good base for you guys to understand a little more on that.
Chetan sir.
To begin, yes.
Hello. Sir, your voice is a little bit low, sir. Can you be a little bit audible, sir?
Give me 1 minute.
Yeah.
So is this better?
Okay, sir. Little bit. It's not audible clear. That's why. Huh?
Give me 1 minute. I think it is. Sir, is my voice audible now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So
Thank you, sir.
all right. So like I said, my presentation and my sharing of knowledge today would be more of a setting stone or a baseline for the presenters coming in future, where I would first be giving you an idea of what is happening in the industry and what the upcoming trend is in terms of digital transformation and how it is very important for you guys as aeronautical engineers to go ahead and look at all these spaces. Before I start and go ahead into this talk of digital transformation and how it's impacting the businesses today, let us just try to understand what
Muted, sir.
digital transformation itself
Better
means.
they will come on
So,
class.
by definition, digital transformation refers to
Prashant
use
sir.
of digital
ಇದು
data
YouTube live ಹೋಗಿ
produced
stream
by
ಅಲೋ
any
ಸರ್.
and every machinery in a
ಸರ್
system
ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ಸರ್
to
ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಮ್
improve
ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ
the
ಬಟ್
efficiency
ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ಗೆ
of
ಅದು
the
ಓಪನ್
business
ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ
that
ಅಂತ
it
ಅಂತಾರೆ.
supports. That
ನಾನು
is
ಇಲ್ಲಿ
what
ಏನು
digital
HTP
transformation does.
ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ
Now,
ಯೂಟ್ಯೂಬ್ ಲಿಂಕ್
since
ಅದನ್ನೇ
we are
ಶೇರ್
talking to
ಮಾಡಿ.
aeronautical engineers, I think I want to take a step back here and speak about
sir.
manufacturing processes
ಇನ್ನೊಂದ್ಸತಿ
in
ಶೇರ್
first,
ಮಾಡಲ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ.
and then step into how that would be implemented in aeronautics
Ah.
specifically, because aeronautical
public
engineering
ಅಂತಾನೆ
itself
ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀನಿ.
is again a subset of manufacturing that happens. So, if
ಇನ್ನೊಂದ್ಸತಿ
we
ಚೆಕ್
take a look
ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ.
at
ಹೌದಾ? ಓಕೆ ಸರ್
the
ಇನ್ನೊಂದ್ಸತಿ ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ.
manufacturing space today, the overall manufacturing process that happens within the industry is primarily divided
ಅದನ್ನೇ
into
ಕಳಿಸಿದ್ದೀನಿ.
4
ಇನ್ನೊಂದ್ಸತಿ
specific
ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀನಿ
phases.
ಸರ್. ಚೆಕ್.
The first is where a lot of design
Okay,
and
sir.
development is done. The second phase is where there is a lot of production done, of production technology
Everything is
that
fine,
comes
sir.
into play in
That
terms
just
of
YouTube
robotics,
1 minute.
automation,
It's take time
people
lapse is there. 3
assembling
minutes
the
time lapse is there.
product that
YouTube
is
and
supposed to
this.
be put into the field, and so on and so forth. The third is where a
Direct
life
YouTube
cycle
में करना
management system
No,
is
sir.
established. Essentially, that would be
No,
having spare parts ready for your
that person
product.
who is
You know there
doing
would be certain amount of
ಈಗ ಒಂದು
components that
ಲಿಂಕ್
would
ಶೇರ್
be
ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ ನೋಡು,
consumed
ಅದನ್ನ
to
ಕಳಿಸಿಲ್ಲ
have these
ಹುಡುಗರಿಗೆ ಬೇರೆ.
spare parts prepared and
ಇವಾಗ ಒಂದು
ready
ಮೇಲ್
for
ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀನಿ ನೋಡಿ ಸರ್.
consumption once your product is into the
ವರ್ಕ್
market.
ಆಗ್ತಿದೆ ಅದು.
And the fourth and most important is post sales
ಓಕೆ
service
ಓಕೆ
and
ಇಲ್ಲ ಈಗ ಕಳಿಸಿದ್
maintenance.
ನೋಡು, ಒಂದು
You know, once
ಸ್ಟ್ರೀಮಿಂಗ್ದು
your
ಇನ್ನೊಂದು
machinery
ಲಿಂಕ್
or
ಬರ್ತದೆ,
your
ಅದನ್ನ
device is
ಕಳಿಸಿದ್ದೀನಿ.
put
ಅದು
onto the
ಓಪನ್
field,
ಮಾಡಿ ಹುಡುಗರು.
you need to be having some amount of servicing and maintenance that needs to be going in on that machine for proper and smooth functioning of that machine. Now, what each one of these are, I'll just step into them in a bit, and you will start understanding how the
You've not
whole
yet got
manufacturing
breakfast.
is going ahead and
Okay.
building one machinery. It's a lot more complicated and
You
intricate
brought 9, 8,
development
6,
process that goes in.
6, 3, 8. No. 4 is
First,
there.
if I have
3
to
I
talk
got,
about
7,
the
7.
design and development work, the whole design and development field is again split into two primary characteristic areas. For any product to be developed, you would need two key things. One is
Today,
the
actually,
mechanical
economic
or
thing for
CAD design of that
in the
particular
morning I
product.
got about 7.
So when a CAD design
I
is
did not
being
prepare the
developed,
food.
basically you do the 3D modeling of
Time is
that
not
product that you want to go ahead and build. So through this course of my explanation, I will try and explain it with the example of building a car,
alarm
right?
rang.
So if you were to go ahead and build a car, the car would generally require a 3D model to be
So
built
deep, sir.
first. And once the 3D model is built, it would have a lot of components, and each of those components would undergo certain amount of stress, certain amount of heat that would flow around, certain amount of air that would go around it. So there would be a lot of
Chandu, food is over?
aerodynamics, mechanics, fluid dynamics, all this happening within the car. So what a mechanical design or development aspect of that would do is ensure that you do all this design work on a computer using a software. You simulate that car before the car is itself manufactured, and then you prove before the car is manufactured that this car can sustain a certain amount of forces in the form of fluidic forces or thermal forces or stress forces that would be coming in on the car
Tomorrow
itself.
program you.
Now, for a car to be developed,
fine,
all
sir.
that is
Now
required
I
is
learnt
not
how to
just the
share
mechanical
everything.
car, right?
Tomorrow
You
is
also
anything.
have a lot of in-vehicle infotainment system. There are displays, control systems within the car which operate
Yes, sir.
and perform a lot of functions that are required inside the car. That is where you have your software design and development coming in, where software
Who is the
engineers
speaker?
sit down
Tomorrow goes
and
to-
work hand
Yes,
in
sir.
hand with mechanical engineers
Tomorrow is
to
here.
understand how you can make your car operation a lot more
Yes.
smoother and easier for your end customer. So what these software design engineers would be doing would be build
Wednesday is-
programs that would enable you to control the car operations
G is in
from
the
a
last.
touch screen, for
Okay,
you to
that-
go ahead
that
and
takes
visualize
prior,
your
that
speeds or your
20
car
second,
operations on your dial
wait.
pad using the screens that you get on the displays, heads up displays, so on and so forth. So this is where a software engineer would come in and add some more value in terms of software design and development. So let's assume you go ahead and do this design work on a software level. The next thing that you would want to go ahead and do is the actual production of the car. You have actually now so far gone ahead and tested all this thing, and you know that my car model is very valid and this is going to work for me. You have also designed a software that is going to go ahead and operate your car. But the very important thing for you in the industry is that it needs to operate in an economic sense, and the production that happens on a mass scale should make economic sense for your producer itself, your employers. A lot of manufacturing companies that we speak of, the Tatas or the Hyundais,
How many
the,
register? 300?
you know,
Sir,
a lot of other companies that are there in the industry today
348, sir.
would want to
Then
go
I came
ahead
at
and
12
have a look at how economic is this for us.
Yes, sir.
And for that
We
economic
met with
production,
different colleges,
there are two
government
technologies
members,
that
everything
always go
available.
hand in hand, that is the man and the machine, the automation and manual
Internet
technology.
connection is
In
low,
today's
sir.
industry setup that we have, there is a good amount of robotics that is being used
Screen is sharing
in the form of
in the
man
info,
operated
but that
robotics, where the
webinar
robots go ahead and
slides are
help you
not
with the
clearly
assembly
visible.
line function. There are certain amount of the assembly that you do with your components of the car. Let's say you have done your design, you have done an engine design somewhere, the engine is manufactured somewhere and assembled, and then you have done the framework of the car somewhere else. Now the framework of the car is ready, you have done the embedded software somewhere else, that is also ready. All this have to come together for your car to go ahead and be a final product. And that is where the two, automation and man tech, come together. And what happens there is there are a few assembly lines which go ahead and assemble your car, like for example your chassis and some basic instruments like say your steering wheel and your whole body being fitted onto this car, it's on the onto the chassis, is done by automation technology. But then there are a lot of screws and nuts and bolts that go in, which have to have some man come in over there and operate and do this whole assembly for the whole car to be integrated. So there is a lot of interaction again there between man and machine happening here. Once the whole car is produced, the next thing is the car would be sold and would be put in place in the field for the consumer to go ahead and use the car. So uh, this is where the life cycle management of the car comes in. So when we speak of life cycle management, a car has a lot of components, like let's say the wheels that come in with the car, the engine oil, the lubricants that need to be changed, the washers, the nuts, bolts. There are a lot of small consumables that come along with the car production. So what is essentially done in your life cycle management is that all these components that are required for you to go ahead and run the car in a smooth functioning way consistently, are being produced consistently. So for every car that comes out, there would be 3 to 4x the number of tires that the car would generally come out with. So if a car comes out with a car has four wheels, we all know this. But then over a life cycle of a car could consume anywhere between 4 to 10 tires per wheel that it has, right? So such consumables are produced based on number of the cars manufactured. For example, let's say your company ABC produces about 100 cars this quarter, and it knows in about 2 years
the thing
these
is,
100 cars
see,
are going
right,
to wear
same
off
thing, that's
all
why it's
those
easy.
wheels that are there, which would be 400 wheels in about 2 years from now. So the company plans from now and manufactures wheels or tires for
But
that
thing is,
particular car
from
that have
this
gone
one
out
and
in this
YouTube,
quarter.
there
So
is
they
a
start
3 to
planning
4
these
minute
spare
time
parts
lapse
in a
is there,
similar way for all
and
other components
connection
as
should
well.
be
Could
very
be your
good. Internet
wipers on
should
the
be more
car, could be
faster.
your exhausts that you want to change,
Our system maintenance.
everything like this. So all these
It should
consumables
be faster.
are
It is slow
planned and
somewhat.
produced for a time
There is some
period.
restriction
Once
in
they are
it.
produced, you need them to be shipped to particular location. Not all manufacturers manufacture all their machine locally, right? So let's say if I had
From
to use
earlier,
purchase a car of
Google Meet,
BMW that was not
the
manufactured in
participation
India,
limit was
then
250.
the consumables
Now
for
they
that
restricted to only
would
100.
have to be
In Google
manufactured
Meet, only
locally
100 people
because
can
the person
join.
using the car is
Now,
local and he
Yeah,
would need that
that's
quickly.
the main
So for
problem.
this, what the company would do
340
is
to 48
first
they are
do the
asking for.
design of the
100 what
consumables,
will do with
and
that?
then make a manufacturing of that or sublease it to their vendors who are there
Tomorrow
locally in
we will
India, local
tomorrow more than
distributors, and those distributors
yeah,
would
what happened?
manufacture
30
this
minutes
and
early we
ensure
will
that you
do
guys,
everything.
who are the customers who would be
So
using
where?
the car towards the end,
No,
would
you
get
give it
these
to
wheels in a way. And that is where your warehouse and data
other why you
management
are
comes
giving?
in,
Who
where
are
you
you to
plan
give?
what material needs to be where at what
Who
time.
told you
So
to give?
this is where the life cycle management
He
comes
was
in.
given in.
And once the whole
Yes,
thing
sir,
is
the one
done,
copy you
there
gave
is
it to.
another
No,
key
sir,
post
sir,
sales
ask us to
event that is
submit
required,
a
which is
copy to
service and
For
maintenance.
why?
Apart from these components
Yes,
like
kept it.
consumables like say
No, sir, he is
wheels,
asking for that
washers
center.
and nuts and bolts and
Sir, we are
exhaust,
submitting it to
those
everyone.
physical
You
components,
submit it to
the
everyone,
car
but
Sir,
there
sir.
is a
also
copy.
require regular maintenance check. Like I initially
Give it,
highlighted,
give it, give
the
it.
in-vehicle infotainment system or the software operation that is happening between the man and the car, that needs to be updated on a regular basis. That is where you get on-the-air support for your software. Uh, there would, for your engine to function normally, you would have to change the engine oil of it regularly, so that the engine oil services the engine and runs.
Which research? Research if that will happen. Hey, no, that fellow you have to talk. He's coming and working before you waiting.
And in the sales and service, you're seeing a lot of data on how many kilometers the car has done, how the car has performed. So if this input could go back to the design team, and if the design team could look at it, it helps the design team to make a better car, a better product, which would last longer and give a better experience to the end customer. So that is where the whole idea of digital transformation and industry 4.0 has been stepping up over the last 3 to 4 years or so. So if I had to go ahead and speak a little about how Industry 4.0 is happening, right? I just spoke about a lot of data being generated from all these machineries. Uh, Industrial Internet of Things is what is helping this thing to happen, right? How is it helping? The data that is being generated from each of these devices, like for example, I want to pull back the car. The car has an engine which runs at a particular RPM. So manufacturers have started adding sensors which would monitor the car's optimal temperature over a period of time. They also have sensors which would monitor the optimal RPM of the engine itself, how long the car runs at that particular RPM. So the moment the whole all of these data is being gathered from your manufacturer, they look at all this data. Now they know where you use your car for the maximum duration of time. Are you using it on your highways where you would be cruising on the fifth gear for most part of your journey, or are you using it in city traffic where you probably would stuck in the traffic, not being able to move? So with that, you get new technologies. Your design team gets an input as to how we need to go ahead and make our next design. If a particular car segment, let's say the sports car segment, they're seeing a lot of people use it only on the highways where they want to go to more speeds. So the design team would ensure that that particular model of the car gets higher power in the next iteration, gets more efficient power, and how can they improvise that gear train efficiency to get better power results for the user. That is what they're going to do. And let's say if the car is something that's being used in the cities, in the traffics, right, then they would want to go ahead and see how they can improvise the automatic transmission that happens within that car. So your design team now has inputs that is coming in from all these machineries and the interaction that is happening with them. Now the design team does this. The design team is able to tell to your production team how it can improvise better on your whole production itself. And where would the production team go ahead and benefit from this? Your production team already knows how much time they have spent on producing the previous car itself. So they know where they need to cut down their time and how they need to go ahead and improve. So that's where your production team now knows on where it needs to improve. And now move that over to your life cycle management team. Your life cycle management team now knows where this particular car is going to be running, and it knows how the wheels are going to be wearing out, or the exhaust is going to wear out. So accordingly, they now can manage in a more efficient way about how much wheels they need to be producing, and how much consumables or support equipment that they need to be producing. And you move the same to the post sales cycle now. since they have already done one iteration and given a feedback to their design team, now they have a second iteration of ideas of where they expect the machine to come to maintenance and where they need to be performing their regular maintenance work. So with that in mind, they go ahead, and this is where that whole loop of internet of things come in, because your internet of things now are connected to each other, and you're getting an idea of where you need to be going ahead and doing better. I would like to take a pause here and see if any one of you has any questions so far. Okay, I assume there are no questions here. So I would like to move forward here. Now that you have all this connected, how do you go ahead and implement that data onto your machine? This is the next important thing that we need to be looking at, right? So uh, along with industrial Internet of Things, I have also been a part of the augmented reality space. So I really wanted to showcase how that is used in the production line and the service and maintenance line. So I just have a small video that I want to share with you guys, which is from YouTube. I want you guys to have a look at this and understand how production, the servicing and maintenance goes in. So here you have the CAD model of uh, an engine that is supposed to be maintained. You go ahead. There is instructions being given to you online in a step-by-step manner. The moment you do it wrong, you go ahead and you find this mistake done, and now it highlights what steps need to be done. Go ahead and you know what needs to be done again next. So with that video, what I wanted to highlight to you guys was, now you just saw how the man and machine are interacting with each other. When I speak of man and machine interacting, you're seeing your sensors gather this data and feeding it real time to a computer, and your computer monitoring it and explaining to a new service line guy who has come in, could be a fresher like you guys who steps into the industry. It's explaining in a step-by-step manner as to how he needs to be performing a certain function. So this is where the industry is moving to, as we are stepping into the industry 4.0 and digital transformation. And a lot of companies have started adopting this over the last 7 to 8 years, and this is the next expected big wave of things in the whole manufacturing and technology perspective, because here is where the software is mixing with the physical hardware of your devices. With that, I just wanted to give you guys a glimpse of what augmented reality does and understand this, right? uh, that being said, I just now want to move on to aerospace, IIoT, and augmented reality in aerospace industry specifically. So, where is IIoT used in aerospace? First, smart freight management. What are they actually trying to do? They're trying to improve your logistics in a better way, where for an aeronautical engineer, I'm sure you guys would be have studied a lot of stability and control, where you would understand that placing a certain amount of weight in one part of the aircraft could impact the whole stability and control of the aircraft itself. So with the introduction of IIoT and artificial intelligence, the artificial intelligence algorithms which have been put in place are now monitoring how much freight is going into an aircraft, where it is being placed, and how it is impacting the aircraft's stability itself. So the moment that is done, you are now able to go ahead and manage and place your freight in a way better manner than you were placing it when you were doing it manually. This is where IIoT has come in and stepped in for aeronautics. The second advantage is it is giving is smart passenger management. What is it doing with smart passenger management? It's monitoring your passengers on a consistent basis. There could be passengers who book your tickets and are regularly late or missing out on flights. You start identifying a pattern on the number of passengers that you miss out. So aircraft industry has started, this is something that the aircraft industry started a couple of decades ago, where you overbook your aircraft because you know there are certain amount of passengers who miss out the aircraft because they get delayed. So manage that in a smarter way to identify what is the ideal number of passengers that are likely to miss out. Now again, like I just highlighted, the stability of the aircraft is one of the key components to the aircraft flight to happen. And so if you have the number of passengers who are going to come in and put them all in the right places, again, the moment that is done, your aircraft is balanced again in terms of its stability and control. So that is again helping you have a smoother, safer, and more efficient flight for you as a passenger as well. The next biggest area where IIoT is actually impacting in aerospace is improving the fuel efficiency for transportation, right? In fact, in the aerospace industry, we look at even a 0.5 percentage improvement in fuel efficiency as a significant save, because what happens is over the long haul, aircrafts generally travel a few thousand kilometers, and in such long distances, that 0.5% with that distance would give a significant saving for the operator and the airlines itself, right? So with that in mind, fuel management has gone up. And how has this gone up? One, on an average, for how long is your aircraft going to be in the air because of ATC climate, ATC controls, or because of bad weather, because you are now monitoring everything that is happening with sensors that are being put on board your aircrafts, and also data that is being generated from your aircraft. All this is being pushed onto a computer and then run on an artificial intelligence algorithm, which is improving and monitoring your fuel consumption. You know where maximum fuel is consumed. So with that, the flight operation procedures have changed a lot over the last 5 to 10 years. Along with that, also the altitudes at which flights operate fluctuate depending upon what the weather condition is up ahead. And if they know that, if they're able to predict that this particular route is going to consume more fuel for me, they take the more fuel efficient route instead of going straight through a bad weather route. And also, since now you know the more efficient route, you're saving significantly on the fuel, which is again passed over to the consumers. And this can be seen in terms of your flight tickets becoming cheaper over the last 7 to 10 years. This is what has happened. The next biggest impact that IIoT has in your aerospace industry is improved and efficient designs. Like I highlighted for the car example itself a little while ago, the same thing applies for your aerospace industry as well, where an aircraft which has been in operation for some time has generated a good amount of data. All this data is being gathered from a lot of sources, and once you've gathered all this data, now you know how this machine is likely to operate because you are running your artificial intelligence algorithms onto them. And now all that is done, you know how it operates. You know what you can improve in terms of where you have higher drag, what is causing more drag, what is causing more what can improve your lift and your efficiency of your aircraft flight itself. These areas can be looked into and identified with IIoT. In fact, a very good example that I wanted to give was Boeing, with its new design, identified that it could reduce its skin friction drag by about 25% with a new design that they identified. Yeah, you could go ahead, and that was possible because of the use of Internet of Things, right? Where they had sensors on board their skin, which they tracked regularly, and they were able to identify areas that they could improvise their design itself, which made them have a more smoother surface in terms of their aircraft design, and build a more efficient design. So that is where IIoT comes in for you. Now, I spoke of another technology which was augmented reality, which works hand in hand with IIoT. If we had to speak of augmented reality in aerospace uh, industry, this is where it is more relevant for you guys. Let's say any one of you manages to go in to be an assembly engineer who would be assembling the aircraft components, right? That is where you have the assembly line operations to be done. And as a fresher in today's industry work, where we do not have a completely transformed, digitally transformed industry yet, half of the work is done manually, where you require an expert to come and sit down. Someone with at least 10 to 15 years of expertise is one who's going to come in and sit down and do these tests, and you're expected to clear certain certification tests before you do an assembly, any work on an assembly line, because uh, a small mistake, as something as small as one nut not being tightened to the right torque settings, could go ahead and cause a big disaster like an aircraft accident itself. So with that in mind, you're expected to do certain certifications. There is a lot of time lost for you there, and also for your employers, because they are spending resources on you for you to get that certification. So augmented reality, because of it coming in, is now reducing that certification time, and now you can look at it in real time, where your whole 3D assembly CAD model that you would have done comes in and it pops up in augmented reality. And like I highlighted a little while ago from the YouTube video I shared, it shows a step-by-step guide of what you need to be doing and highlights you if you're doing something wrong. And once it's all done, you know you're now operating and assembling your whole aircraft in a more quicker way and a more efficient way. So that is one key space where augmented reality is being used in the aeronautical industry itself. The second is service line. Again, servicing is something similar to assembly, where you have a lot of components removed and then reassembled for the normal operation of your engine or your aircraft itself. So that is another space where augmented reality is being used significantly. The next is in spare part management. In terms of spare part management, how it is being used is, there are certain new add-on elements that are being retrofitted onto aircraft. Like I just mentioned, aircrafts have been around for quite some time now, and the sensors were not there when they were originally developed. Sensors are being put on every device right now to get better efficiency. So the sensors itself come in as additional spare part which need to be added on. And how do you add it on is an instruction set that's given in augmented reality. So any new addition that they're doing, your technical expert knows where what needs to be fitted and how it's fitted. And last but not the least, where augmented reality comes in and helps you guys, is with being able to visualize and sell the whole components of the aircraft. Like there are TVs that come on onboard LCD screens that you get on an aircraft seat for you to watch a movie. A new airline wants to go ahead and purchase those LCD screens, but they don't know how it would look on their screen. You use augmented reality to showcase to them as to how it would look and what it is, and run it forward like that. So with this, I think I have more or less come towards the end of my presentation and what I wanted to showcase to you guys in terms of what is happening in the manufacturing industry in general and how it is impacting the aerospace industries. And I would now like to open up the floor for any questions that you guys might be having, wanting to understand things more and how certain operations work and where you might fit in, questions like that. Please feel free to ask those questions now.
Hello.
Yes.
Guys, any doubts, any clarification you want, you can ask, you can put your question in the chat box, or you can ask directly by unmuting yourself. Chetan sir, one question is there here from
Yes.
one student. What the percentage of the optic techs going to be used in the aircraft in coming nearby future? What is the in the future? What will be the percentage of that optic tech is going to be in the future, sir?
So when you say optic tech, I didn't quite get that.
He's asking like AI, artificial intelligence, and optic tech. What techniques you are going to be used?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got it. Okay. So here's the thing, right? And not just aerospace industry, but the manufacturing industry itself as a whole, right? The IIoT tech and augmented reality that is there, this is seen as the future of the technology itself. In fact, bigger companies like Honeywell, Airbus, Boeing, all these companies have worked closely with these companies, have started implementing these technologies on board their manufacturing sites as well as servicing sites, right? And here's the thing: how the industry actually works is your companies like Boeing and Airbus manufacture your aircrafts, and your airlines like say AirAsia or Indigo go ahead and lease these or purchase these aircrafts, and then they operate them. While they are operating them, it's just like them purchasing. It's just like you purchasing a car and running that car, and you would want your car to run more efficiently. And if a dealer comes up to you and says, a new manufacturer comes out and says, hey, my car looks more stylish and it also gives you more efficient fuel efficiency and customer satisfaction, then you are likely to go ahead and purchase that car. Same thing applies here, and something similar is what is happening. So with that coming in here, uh, a lot of companies have started giving a lot of focus on IIoT and augmented reality, because this has improved the efficiency levels by anywhere between 25% efficiency to about 200% efficiency, right? Depends on where it's being used. So with that in mind, from what I have interacted with my customers and people across these major companies, IIoT is surely expected to be at least running 70 to 75% of business efficiency results going forward in the next 5 to 10 years.
Okay, thank you, sir. Sir, one more question from Ramachandra, sir. What will be the significant difference between the virtual reality and the augmented reality, sir?
Yes, sir. So that is a very nice question here. So when you talk of virtual reality, what is actually done there is you are taken into a different world itself. You have a completely closed eyewear that is given to you, where you are not able to see your surrounding, and it is used in defense training related modules, right? Where we have components like, for example, in a flight simulator, if a pilot trainee before he went onto an aircraft, if he had to do that simulation on ground, so he cannot have these normal distractions, because it's a virtual training we are doing. We cannot have these normal distractions of people walking around in front of him. Even in next to the simulator room, you will see a simulator cockpit there, and next to that there would be people walking around, which cause a distraction to that pilot. With that in mind, what virtual reality does is it takes that pilot into a different world where he does not see any of these people, and none of these parameters would be impacting him. All he would be looking at is like a real-time scenario. Sit in an aircraft cockpit. He'll be sitting, even physically, he would be sitting in an aircraft cockpit, but he's now seeing just the aircraft cockpit and those scenarios that he would be requiring there. This is what happens in virtual reality. Now, in augmented reality, let's say a new employee comes in, or else there is a new trainee that is coming in, or else a new component that is supposed to be added on to an existing device that is there. So you have to visualize how that would look on your existing machinery that is there. That is where augmented reality comes in, and you see your machinery there, and on top of that, you layer the new component or the new setting that you want to do, and that is where you get your augmented reality. And both of these domains, both virtual reality and augmented reality, have their own significance and importance within the aerospace industry here.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Sir, one more question is there. What are the softwares you have mentioned here? All those softwares are very costly, and for getting a training outside, it will be very difficult for the students, sir. Is any companies offering this training IoT and augmented if they are going to give any internship opportunity for these students and all?
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. So here are a couple of comments that I want to make around those softwares, right? So when we talk of software itself, the IIoT software would require two things to it. One is a good amount of programming knowledge that a lot of students need to be having. Uh, I see this happen a lot during college days, where we neglect that skills of being able to program. It is an essential part, along with being able to design. Depends upon what specialization each of your student goes into, that if they want to build on that. But what engineering provides is sufficient enough for you to understand that programming and designing basics that you would require. And talking about companies that provide you training on this, all leading software service providers, including the likes of Siemens, Autodesk, PTC, who offer you these softwares respectively, AutoCAD, Creo, and ProE, NX, all these softwares, they have also moved on to this domain, and they all offer their own training courses for students and universities. So yes, if your college is interested, you can always reach out to me. I can connect you people with the relevant respective guys who would help you accordingly, from some industry leaders that I am aware of. They could help you with setting up some training specifically for this, and you guys can get more equipped in that sense. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, thank you very much, sir. Sir, one more question is there. How can we counter the AI drawbacks, sir? If any mechanical component or any mechanical system is giving not going to give the correct values, like any instrument or mechanical system, any interruption is happen. Like how this AI can be overcome with those mechanical issues, sir?
Yes, so that is a very nice question here. So here's the advantage of augmented reality, sorry, artificial intelligence, right? Artificial intelligence is not automation. We need to understand the difference here. Automation is wherein you set a parameter and say, if this parameter is met, this action needs to be taken. That is where you automate your process. Now, what artificial intelligence does to you is once this parameter is set, now you have set a parameter saying, like for example, here you have written that autopilot is on and there is a problem with the pitot tube, and the plane corrects accordingly. So if the plane makes a mistake like that, that mistake is gathered. The pilot would obviously, that is why we have a man still there. We haven't moved on to the technology where everything runs by itself. The pilot corrects it, but what the artificial intelligence does is it records that the pilot came ahead and corrected it. There was an error, and it identifies why that error was there and where that error was there. That is what artificial intelligence helps you identify. The moment that is identified, the next time an aircraft goes into a situation like this, now this is stored on a cloud, and you have processed this information, you have identified this problem. This problem solution would also be identified and worked out by engineers, and now this would be implemented in the second scenario where a pitot tube could have some malfunction in terms of the reading it has, and this time it would not let the pilot take over, it would automatically correct itself. So the pilot now knows that it has automatically corrected itself. So there is a difference between automation and artificial intelligence coming in here itself. Please be a little careful about that and do not mix them up.
Okay, thank you, sir. Sir, last question. Uh, our student, okay, those who are freshers, what are the skills industry are expecting with the students, freshers?
Okay, that's a very nice question. So, two primary things that industry looks at, if we are talking of manufacturing itself, uh, one is your ability to go ahead and do these CAD programs. Like you should be able to do some basic elemental CAD design, and more important than those CAD design is something that we have seen. Is the fundamentals, something that is taught to you guys in your second year of engineering, somewhere from your third sem to your fourth, fifth sem, where you learn about mechanics of materials, strength of materials, how a material is, would it operate. There is a lack in students who come into the industry in this basics. They miss out on this fundamentals of, if a material can operate in a certain condition, they don't know that. They come here and then they learn that skill. These are two primary things, right? One is being able to do some design development work with CAD and any other software. It's not restricted to CAD. It could be like, let's say, if someone wants to move into the artificial intelligence domain, being able to write some amount of programming, or if someone wants to go into design field, being able to do some design element, but being able to do this with the basics. That is very important. The basics of how a machine would operate, how a material would react in a particular situation. The combination of these two is what is very important, and I think focus on that for every individual. I can assure you this, that a lot of colleges are already doing this, including your college, but the focus should be more from the individual side, that they need to mix the two of them together, the basics as well as the technology that they want to go into, and improve on that. That is what will help them grow as well as get into good jobs once they step into the industry.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Sir, last question. Where and all the augmented realities are used in the aerospace field, sir?
So, like I highlighted in my presentation, let me just bring back up my screen here. Uh, So if you just see what I highlighted here, where augmented reality is used, generally it comes in assembly line. Though at today's scenario, you're still expected to get a certification, but with the certification, the norms on the certification stringency has gone down. They're not just as strict as they were with the certification itself, because now you're assisted with augmented reality, but your company needs to be having that. So that is one area in assembly and service line operations. And the second is in spare part management. Let's say you want to add on new spare parts, you want to remove some spare parts, change components. That is another place where augmented reality is coming in. And the third and most important is in visualizing and showing your end customers what you guys have built and designed. That is where augmented reality is coming.
Ask us that 11 to 12 tomorrow's assembly class. Details, please.
Hello.
Hello. Hope that
Uh,
answered your question.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you very much, sir. The session was very useful and is a very informative session for our student and all the participants who participate for this webinar. It is, I think, it's a very good information, the knowledge and they gain it from this webinar. Thank you very much, sir, for giving a precious time for our institution and giving a more informative session for our student and our participants. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. So thank you very much.
Uh,
Actually, it was a privilege for me to come out here and share the knowledge I have with all you students, and wishing all the students a very good luck and all the best for their careers.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Guys, tomorrow session we will post in the WhatsApp group. Okay, tomorrow session is there on finite element. Okay, from speaker is the Arun Shankar. He is going to give an webinar on the generic finite element procedure. It's very useful for you guys for your next coming semesters and for your future also. Okay. Remaining details of the tomorrow session and the link we will post in the WhatsApp group. Just check with the WhatsApp group. Okay. Thank you very much for attending today's session and feedback link we will post in the WhatsApp group by another 30 minutes. Okay. Thank you for attending to today's session. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you, Chetan, sir. Then, sir. Nice.